Now, bridging the gap between Africa and the Western world is a subject for leaders at the G20 summit in Pittsburgh and at the UN General Assembly in New York. It's also the center of attention right here in Washington at the upcoming U.S. Africa Business Summit. Business leaders and several heads of state from Africa will be in attendance at the 7th biannual summit hosted by the Corporate Council on Africa, CCA, one of Africa's largest private investors. Stephen Hayes is the group's president and CEO.
It doesn't solve anything per se. What it does is it provides a venue to bring people together, to begin to develop business contacts, and also to address a lot of the issues that separate and prevent greater U.S. investment in Africa.
There have been many efforts over the years to boost trade and investment between Africa and the U.S., including CCA's summits and other initiatives such as the 2000 Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which facilitates trade between the two continents. But the impact of such efforts is small, according to Kenyan economist Ndimyake Mwakalyelye.
At present, American investments in Africa account for less than 1% of the total U.S. investments outside. So U.S. is a tiny player in Africa.
China's investment in Africa totals almost 40%, but Hayes says U.S. investors are skeptical of Africa for investment.
Lack of infrastructure, capacity building, or the lack of capacity to really develop to the scale that needs to be developed and could be developed. And I think there are some governance issues as well. Often I think that ministries can act as blocks to progress.
In a recent article in the Washington Post newspaper, Rwandan President Paul Kagame urged African leaders to improve their governance and investment climate. He also challenged the United States to boost its investments in Africa. Mr. Kagame is expected to attend the CCA summit, as is Tanzania's Jakaya Kikwete and Ghana's recently elected president John Atta Mills.
With those presidents especially, we want to continue to open the dialogue with and getting more private sector investment. I think all three countries are becoming more open to it.
Analyst Ndimyake Mwakalyelye says there's a lot of value to investment summits, which could boost areas other than the extractive industry, oil and mining, where most investment in Africa is concentrated. But he has this message for leaders.
Never have a strategy that is targeting foreign investors. All you need to do is make sure that you have a good environment for your own people to invest. If it's good for Kenyans to invest, Americans will come on their own. If it's good for Tanzanians to invest in Tanzania, then Americans will come.
Stephen Hayes says securing investments or partnerships is not necessarily the ultimate goal of the Corporate Council on Africa's summits.
Every African that comes here is not going to get a business partnership. And so there's going to be a lot of disillusionment in that regard. But I also think there's a lot of learning and education to be done here. We've got 64 workshops. We'll have a number of meetings.
The CCA summit will last 1 week and involve panel discussions, luncheons and networking opportunities. Longtime civil rights activist Ambassador Andrew Young will receive the Lifetime Achievement Award for his contributions to Africa's growth.